A gigantic beaver jaw some 50,000 years ago was found in a gravel pit in southeastern Manitoba. Dr. Graham Young is curator of geology and paleontology at the Manitoba Museum. Young says that the giant beaver or Castoroides ohioensis species name would have lived towards the end of the Ice Age, just before the glacier thawed and formed Lake Agassiz. He points out that the giant beaver would have been much larger than a modern beaver and estimates that it would have been about the size of a bear. Young points out that it is an unusual find in Manitoba. In fact, this is only the fourth area in all of Canada where a giant beaver piece has been found. There were 3 other documented appearances in Canada. I think it has been found quite in the Yukon of this type of creatures. The others, as far as I know. One is the Don Valley Brick Factory in Toronto, not far from the middle of Toronto today. The other was what is now an island in the middle of the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick. He says that, although all these findings are quite dispersed, there are other occurrences in the north-central EU including Minnesota, noting that this finding in Manitoba could be related to the occurrences of Minnesota. Young estimates that this piece is approximately 50,000 years old but says those numbers are approaching the limits of carbon dating. He points out that this particular piece has not been dated with carbon, but have tested other pieces found in the same area that are believed to be from the same period of time. He adds that this piece is almost certainly the last 100,000 years. Carbon dating even now requires some destruction of a sample. It used to be quite small and now it is a very small amount, but even so, it is much easier to sacrifice some wood and then drill part of a rare sample fossil bone. Of course it would be great to have the whole creature, but something like the jaw is really good because you can get an idea